If you get the commute wrong, everything else about Greenwich stops mattering. The house can be perfect, the neighborhood can be exactly what you want, but if your day-to-day rhythm doesn't work, you'll feel it within the first 2 weeks. And this is where most New York City buyers make the wrong assumption. They look at Greenwich on a map, they see it's close to New York City, and they assume the commute is simple. Well, it's not complicated, but it's not also what you think. So let's walk through what the commute from Greenwich, Connecticut to New York City actually looks like day to day, so you can decide if it fits your life before you make the move. First, let's talk about the train, because the most important for buyers is the train. That becomes the backbone of their commute. Greenwich runs on the Metro New Haven line, and from Greenwich to Grand Central, you're typically looking at 50 to 60 minutes on an express train. From Old Greenwich, it's slightly longer, closer to, I would say, 55 minutes. Now on paper, that sounds straightforward. But what matters more is not the train ride time, it's the full door-to-door timeline. Because your commute is not just the train, it's getting from your house to the station, it's parking, it's walking, it's waiting time, it's the train itself, and then of course getting from Grand Central to your office. That's where the real number comes from. For most buyers, the full commute ends up being somewhere between an hour and 15 to an hour and 45 each way. And that range depends heavily on where you live within Greenwich. This is where location inside Greenwich starts to matter more than most buyers expect. If you're closer to Old Greenwich or Riverside, you have easier access to smaller stations and a slightly more predictable routine. If you're further inland or backcountry, your drive to the station becomes part of the equation, and that adds variability. And that variability is what catches people off guard, because the commute is not just about distance, it's about consistency. Now let's talk about driving, because some buyers assume, well, we'll just drive into the city. And in reality, that's really the primary long-term plan. Driving from Greenwich to Manhattan, it can range anywhere from an hour to well over 2 hours, depending on traffic, time of day, and where you're going. For most people, that becomes an occasional option, but not really a daily strategy. Here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. The commute itself is not the problem, it's how it fits into your day. If you're used to a 20-minute subway ride in Manhattan, it's going to be very different rhythm from Greenwich. You're trading frequency and flexibility for space, privacy, and environment. Your mornings become more structured, your evenings become more intentional, and for a lot of buyers, that trade-off is exactly what they want. But for some, it's not. Quick question for you. If you're currently commuting in New York, how long is your commute right now? Because the comparison matters more than the number. Now let's talk about the upside, because this is where people start to make the move. When the commute works for you, Greenwich offers something that's very hard to replicate. You get proximity to New York City without living inside it. You get more space, you get more privacy, you get access to the water, sailing on Long Island Sound. It's just a different pace. And most importantly, you stay connected to the city professionally. The balance is why demand in Greenwich has remained consistent, especially from Manhattan and Brooklyn buyers. But here's the key. The buyers who are the happiest with their move are the ones who make the decision with clarity. Not assumption. They understand where they will commute from, what their commute will be door to door, and how often they need to be in the city. And how that fits into their weekly schedule, because once you define that, the decision becomes more straightforward. And this is where Greenwich versus New Jersey becomes a real conversation. Some New Jersey markets offer shorter, more direct commutes depending on where you're working. But Greenwich, it offers a different lifestyle, and often it's that different lifestyle and long-term positioning that's so attractive. So the question really is not just which commute is shorter, it's which setup will fit how you want to live. If you're considering a move from New York City to Greenwich, Connecticut, the smartest thing you can do is map out your real commute before you choose the home. Not the estimated version, the actual version, because that's the way you'll live every day. If you want more breakdown like this on specific Greenwich neighborhoods, pricing, and how buyers navigate moving from New York City, make sure you're subscribed. And if you're starting to think seriously about whether Greenwich makes sense for you, reach out when you're ready. I'm happy to walk you through your situation and help you think it through clearly.